I'm alive.
Kind of. Say 80s and all sorts of stuff on there.
Hiya!
Full. Yes, I did catch it.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Thin Brown Line Airsoft YouTube channel. I'm Mark, or Herman. I'm back this week with another review. I've reviewed a couple of these in the past from different brands, and I've been lucky enough that a friend of mine has, well, I'll say lucky enough, he's chucked this at me to repair for him. I think I've repaired it. I've got some more testing to do, but it is the ICS L85A2. I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, I'm not a fan. Not of the actual gun itself, but of the takedown procedure and everything, because obviously I've had to dismantle it, and yeah, it's not. Yeah, I didn't enjoy taking it down because it's a biatch. But I will go through it fairly objectively to begin with, and then I'll tell you what I do and don't like about it, basically. So, yes, ICS L85A2. It is the A2, and you can tell it's A2 for several reasons. Number one is the shroud around the magazine release at the front end of it. Number two is it's got a small shroud around the actual magazine release itself, just here. So it's a bit more difficult to press, which is good when it's banging against your webbing and stuff. It's not going to drop your mag. Number three rather, is the bolt, as in the to pull the bolt back, is actually a teardrop shape as opposed to the old barrel style from the A1, and in the real version that is to aid shell deflection when it ejects your spent rounds, obviously. But on the back of this, it's actually missing its sling loop from on the back, the metal sort of D shape that can come out both sides. But on the back of this is actually a plastic butt plate. It's all full plastic butt plate. You've got your plastic cheek rest, which is pretty much the same as the G&G, the Wii, the Army Armament one, the Ares and Star. They've all got a plasticky. In fact, I actually think the Ares and Star ones have got like a rubber tuck on them. But anyway, it's got a plastic cheek rest. Obviously, polymer pistol grip, which is actually slightly slimmer than the Army Armament one. I think it does actually feel slightly slimmer. Obviously, polymer front hand guard, which is slightly different to every other one. Like these holes here are actually more of a square hole as opposed to the oval type holes on every other brand. And then obviously your birdcage flash hider. Obviously it's got the carry handle stroke rear sight, which has got adjustable aperture, so you've got a wide one there, flick it forward and you're down to a small peephole. Come a bit closer so you can see it. There, if you throw, there we go. Obviously the back of the hand the carry handle, that thing, protect that a wee bit. On the front you've got a removable sight post here, which has got just a blade in between two wings to protect that. That is adjustable by a wheel just there. So, I mean, this one doesn't turn for some reason, but normally it's adjustable. Oh, hang on, that's why. It's got a pin in it. But anyway, it should be adjustable for windage and elevation. And it's removable via just a little screw, just there. And it's a sort of a dovetail post for this to slot onto, and then you just do that screw back up. To remove the rear handguard, I keep calling it handguard, carry handle, it is a screw. I don't know how well you can see it. There's a screw here, which you access through one of these holes here, and you loosen off that screw, and then this slides forwards. You need to pop that forward, open. So once you've undone them, that'll slide off and out, and then you can do it back up again. Then you can put a SUSAT or whatever on the top. Now, so from the rear, you've got your selector at the back here. It's actually got no markings on it. I've not actually noticed that before. But in the up position, if I remember rightly, is semi-auto, and down is the fun switch, is full auto. Staying on this side, moving forwards, you've got fake bolt release. It does nothing. Then you've got your mag release, which quite obviously you just press it and the mag comes out. Again, coming forwards, then you've got your pistol grip trigger, which is actually on safety, on safer at the moment. It is a cross bolt style safety. You just push it through. I don't know how well you're going to see this again. You see just here, push it through, and that's now on fire. Obviously there's no battery in this or magazine, hence I'm still pulling the trigger. See? And pop it back through to stick on safe again. Keep on going down this side. You've got a little notch here, so you can open the front handguard, which is also your battery compartment. See the wires, just about can see the wires in here. That's got a small Tamir and a spade fuse, like the ones you get in your car. A spade fuse on the end of that. And I can tell you that you can pretty much fit virtually any battery made for airsoft in there. I mean, it's the same size handguard, slightly different style, but same size handguard as what's on the Army Armament in the G&G. And I had a whacking great 2200 milliamp hour 8.4 volts nickel metal hydride battery, so it was massive, and they fit in there with loads of room. Continuing forwards, you've got your sling point here, which is non-removable. Well, it is removable, but it's a bit of a faff. You have to remove a little grub here, which by the looks of it was broken a long time ago. You have to remove a little grub screw here. It's just a plastic screw. Then you put a screwdriver through, undo a screw in the other side of this, so you can take this out, and then you can put it on the other side if you really want to, but it's a bit of a faff to do. Anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't bother. Personally, I don't even use a sling on pretty much any of my guns, actually. Mainly because I kind of carry them all the time. And then moving forward again, you've got your birdcage flash hider, which on the G&G and the Army Armament versions, you just unscrew. Obviously it's rear threaded, counterclockwise threaded. On this one, however, I don't know how well you're going to see this, so I'm probably going to have to take some pictures and get these stuck up around here somewhere. But there's a little grub screw just there, which you have to undo first, and then you can undo this, which is part of my complaint for the takedown of it, because any of you that got the Army Armament or the G&G brands will know. I can't comment on the others other than the Aries. That is a sod to take to pieces. That's the worst one, to be fair, that I've taken to pieces so far. But I can't comment on the WeTech L85, but I do know that pretty much takes down exactly the same as a real one, because it's all gas. But on my personal ones, you take out that body pin there, you take out that body pin there, and it all and the upper and lower receiver split apart. Dead easy. On the ICS one, they wanted to be a bit more difficult. What you have to do is you have to take off the handguard, because the handguard is butted right up to both of the upper and lower receiver, and when you split the upper and lower receiver apart, the upper receiver slides slightly forward and then pivots up, which it can't do with a handguard on. To take the handguard off, however, it's quite simple. You just push this button down, but the handguard won't come off without taking the muzzle brake off. So you have to take out the grub screw, unscrew the muzzle brake, open this hatch door bit here, push the button down, slide the handguard completely off. Then you have to undo this screw here on the butt plate, pop out the 2 body pins, and then you can split the upper and lower receiver. Did enjoy it. I like to be able to go pop, pop, done. The one good thing, however, is, and I can show you on this because it won't come to pieces, is these ear, I'll use a key, these ear body pins on this are actually, take out the bottom one, actually it's easier, are captive, which I did like. They don't come out, so if you are or have to disassemble it in the field, you're not going to run the risk of losing your body pins, because like I say, they've got split pins on the inside of the receiver, so they don't just pop out and disappear into the mud and dirt and everything. You never find them again and put it back together. But yeah, admittedly, I don't like the feel of the ICS L85, if I'm honest. The pistol grip feels almost too square. On the Army Armament and the G&G, that is more of a rounded pistol grip. I mean, it's still this sort of shape, but it's got a slight bump there, and it's slightly wider, and it's got more curvature to it. It feels almost like it's digging into my inner knuckles and my palm with this one, but not massively important. The trigger, it's not a bad trigger actually. It's got a lot of, it's got quite a lot of travel on it. In fact, if I bring this right up, you'll hear it. So ready? Hear that click? Basically half the travel of the trigger. In fact, yeah, pretty much half the travel of the trigger, and then it breaks. So, but that's because it's got a slightly different trigger system than the other L85s. It's not really got the bar, so to speak. It's more of it's an electronic trigger. From how I've seen it set up, I've not seen another setup like it, and I'm not too sure about it, to be honest with you. But like I say, it's not bad. Brand new. These retail at depending where you are and where you buy it from, but they're around the same sort of price. They're about £300 from most of the places I've seen, and they come with obviously the gun, unjamming rod, and some places provide 1 magazine, some places provide 2 magazines with them. Depending on where you buy it from. So for £300, like I say, it's a decent gun when it's put together. Not my preference. I prefer the G&G and Army Armament ones, just because they, to me, are more realistic. Well, then again, I also, I don't like the handguard, the carry handle. I've got Susat on mine anyway. Both mine actually. But yeah, I don't. I mean, the other thing I don't like is I really don't like the plastic buttstock on it. It's got no give because it's plastic, so it's a bit odd. That's what she said last night. Yeah, I know. So it's not my personal preference. The one thing I had noticed about this is the bolt release. The bolt hold back. You flick it up. You may have just seen that. Right. I'll do it again. See if I can do it. Hold it with my face. So you slide the bolt back, push up the rear lever, and it'll hold it back. In fact, I haven't gone through the bits on this side, have I? Right, starting from the back, you've got your bolt hold open and release. You've got your dust cover, and you've got your charging handle. That's the only. Oh, and then you've got some gumph there. And a serial number embossed into the metalwork. It's the only difference between the left hand and right hand side. But yes, to obviously you pull the bolt back to get to the hop unit, push up the hold open, and that will hold the bolt. Now dropping it down doesn't release it. You have to pull the bolt back slightly and release. Obviously you don't have to slam it forwards, but yes. Now, on this one, it's a little bit different. In fact, actually, I'm going to go off screen for just a second because... right, I'm back. Because this one has actually got a very different hop unit in it, because I will pop up a picture somewhere. I've been sent a proprietary hop unit by a friend of mine who's 3D printed it, and he's getting me to test it because it, from what we've seen so far, it seems to be performing better than the standard ICS one. That's the standard ICS hop unit, very similar to an M4 hop unit, but different. And it's got a dial on a ratchet E type system here that adjusts this hop on here. You'll probably see it go up and down a little bit. Ouch, fingers. But this is the normal ICS hop unit. It is proprietary. A normal M4 one doesn't fit, which or a G&G one or an Army Armament one. So what my mate has done, you might just see in there the white, I say I'll stick a picture up here somewhere, is basically 3D printed an M4 style dial hop unit that will fit an ICS perfectly. So I will be testing that fairly soon and see how that goes. But yeah, I think as L85s go, out of all of the ones I've had, owned, worked on and reviewed, ICS would be my least favourite. And it's about mid-range actually. I think it's like one of the second cheapest brand. Your Army Armament, which are only about £150, and you've got your ICS, which are 300. Then your G&G, I think, are about 350, and I can't for the life of me remember how much the Aries ones are, and I haven't even bothered looking at the WeTech ones because I don't really use gas rifles, I just use gas pistols mainly. But yes, out of the box, this apparently fires at about 280 to 320 FPS, so it's the luck of the draw. But what they do have is a quick FPS adjust. Quick FPS adjust. What you have to do is undo this screw here, pop off the back, and it's got a bar inside with low, medium, high on it. So if you do play at several different sites, say one's got a 350 FPS limit on full auto, one's got a 360 and one's got 370, low, medium, high, you can adjust it between the three. Good idea and a bad idea at the same time, because it's a good idea if you play at several different sites, so you can pop along to your, say for example, we pop along to your normal site that's 350, stick it on low, play all day on 350, and then you go somewhere else that's like 370, you can just go pop to high, put it back together and run round. My worry with that is you get some unscrupulous players run around with a screwdriver in their pocket, chrono it on low at a low FPS limit site, get out in the field, wait until someone's not looking, go click click, put it back together, and then start shooting people on full auto with near DMR FPS. So it's a good idea but bad idea, but then again people have the same argument for things like HPA, which is why a lot of sites get you to lock off the regulator. So, but I don't play with HPA either. Ugh. Unless it's a minigun. But yeah, that is... Oh yes, what was wrong with this? Yeah. Tony, my good buddy, he's had this for about 3 or 4 years. Had it off somebody else and kept finding that you'd, stick a magazine in it, obviously stick the battery on it, pull the trigger, get through about half a mid-cap mag, and then the motor would smoke. And he's changed the motor a couple of times from what he was telling me, and it kept doing the same thing. I've had it to bits, and I think I've solved it, because normally you'll have a wire, and typically ain't got no wires here, but your wire will be like that, and you'll have your spade connector on the end of it. Well, ICS in their infinite wisdom, still looking for wire, I've got the wire, not done anything with the end, so you've got like basically a small amount of air wire here, and then you've got the spade connector coming off at a 90-degree angle, and then not heat shrunk any of it in a metal bodied gun. So I think it was touching and earthing on the body, obviously burning the motor out because of that. As soon as you moved, I mean, you'd put it together, the wires won't be touching, but as soon as you moved it, or just knocked it or jogged it or whatever, the wires would touch the body and short out the motor. So I think I've solved it. I'm going to run it a bit more and see if it actually affects it. I'm going to not knock it about, but I'm going to give it a good shake about and a run about, and just drop it on its butt pad on my leg or something a couple of times, just to see if the wires come out of place and cause it to do so. Yeah, I will get back to you with the my thoughts on this here proprietary hop-up that my buddy has 3D printed. So far, it seems to be pretty good. It's a lot easier to adjust, although I've got fat fingers, so the only downside is the ejection port on the ICS one, because of the type of hop unit it had, it's actually not cut as long as some of the other ones. So when you put your finger in, you do need slender fingers to actually adjust it. You can't do it with gloves on. That would be an issue. But that's pretty damn good. Right, so that is the ICS L85A2. Some positives, some negatives. Personally, for me, the negatives outweigh the positives, but that is just my personal preference. A lot of people swear by them. I would personally love to get my hands on the ICS L86 and give that a bash, because loads of people rave about it. But anyway, that is that for now. Stay. One thing I have got pretty cool to show you is, you all know Spectre. He made me something cool. Now, I'm forever getting people making something cool, but I've got a shotgun shell, but it's a thin brown line shotgun shell. He's obviously cut, carved, glued and laminated pine and cedar, I think, together to make a thin brown line, basically a thin brown line branded dummy shotgun shell, and obviously turned it into a keyring. As you can see, it is a fired shotgun shell, naturally. Otherwise you'd be firing a block of wood at somebody. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Thin Brown Line as a team are pretty much now on winter shutdown, so we probably won't be playing again now until about February-ish. You might still see one or two of us floating around at different sites, because like Alan, or Badger, whatever you want to call him, he's on about getting a few games in still over winter. Cage Bat and Tank Girl may well be, but Cage Bat has done his knee in, so he has not been able to play, so he's probably going to be getting a bit of an itchy trigger finger. He'll want to play soon, but yeah, other than that, I think that's about it for now. So thanks for watching.